So I went to the lumber store today to try to start looking up stuff, looking for wood and potentially buy lumber for this project, this building my coffin thing. Um, it's kind of like a weird thing because it's like the kind of hyperactive person that I am, like immediately wants, it's like, well, let's start working on this right now. Like, need to find wood, I need, blah, 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 blah. Shopping for it, doing all these things for it. And, it's like kind of like in this like weird state where it's like I need to get it. And, right now it's like I want it so fast that I'll just do it cheap and it's fine. And as I'm standing there like in front of the shelf, like looking at all these different types of wood that come in all these different grades and finishes and things like that, like it kind of like hits me. It's like, this isn't like, why am I rushing this? Like, what's the benefit of like doing this cheap and fast? Like, if this is something that I actually do plan on being buried in at some point in another 50 years or so, it's like, then I've got time. This isn't, I don't need to be buried right now. I was talking with my brother about it on the way home from the hardware store, and he was kind of asking me what prompted the entire like idea for the project and like kind of what's going on. And like, I was kind of talking to him about like the idea that started it. It was like he and I had a conversation the other day about 9/11 and about the weird, cynical approach to death that we have with a lot of things, where it's like we kind of, in our conversation about 9/11, we were talking about the idea of like commodifying death and the idea of setting up like memorials and gift shops and things like that for death. And it kind of got me to thinking about like, well, like, how do I approach death? Like, I'm kind of a nihilistic person. Like, is death something that I say like foregone to, like, it's fine, it's going to happen, it doesn't bother me. Death is as meaningless as life is in a lot of ways. And it's like, well, like, what does that mean? I mean, what does it mean to me to, like, what does death mean to me? So it's like, I kind of wanted this as like a project to sort of start focusing on the more concrete aspects of it, like force myself to like think a little bit more seriously about it, think a little bit more in depth, rather than just these sort of, cynical and jaded foregone conclusions of death. I don't think I'm there yet, but like, I don't think I'm like at a place where I'm like, yes, this is a thing that I fully understand and fully get. I think today, though, like in this moment of like looking at this wood and talking to my brother and being like, this is something I've got 50 years to build. I'm 34 now, and it's like that I probably won't need this till I'm in my 80s or 90s. I've literally got all the time in the world to do this. Like, what's the rush? And it's like, if you don't want to rush, if you want to make sure you do things right, then it's like, don't be cheap either. And it's like, well, then at what point does spending good money on it become look how much money I can spend on my coffin? Like at that point, it's like we're talking about the very thing that I want to avoid, like that, like weird, I'm going to spend so much money on this coffin that's going to keep my body perfectly preserved for the rest of forever for no reason other than I feel like I'm really important. And it's like, I don't think that that's really great either. Like, there's got to be some kind of weird middle ground in there where like I could make something that's going to last me the 50 years until I need it, then do its job and be disposable, it's gone. And making something quickly, like over the course of like a weekend, spending $100 to make it and carry it around with me for 50 years and have it fall apart and need constant repair and constant reworking. And it reminds me of that, I think it's like an old Johnny Cash song where he talks about like, this kid has this like pickup truck that he just like constantly is putting new parts on, and by the time he's done, like it's a completely new truck. And it's like, I don't want to do that either. I mean, the years-long process, decades-long process potentially, the decades-long process of doing that is intriguing, of constantly like reworking and rebuilding and all that. And it's like that makes the entire thing seem like such a temporary thing, temporary disposable thing. And it's like, wouldn't it be better to have something that is lasting for at least as long as until I need it? I don't know, I guess, really what I'm wanting to do yet. Like it, and maybe, and that's the whole point of me doing this, is I'm wanting to kind of make it like, what is the point? Like, I think this is one of those things that is like, as I'm doing it, I'm going to find out more about like why I'm doing it as I'm doing it. I don't really expect there to be like any solid answers, about anything yet. Again, this is a project that could take me 50 years, and if it does, then we'll see. For now, though, I'm just kind of honestly stymied by like wood. Wood is so much more confusing than I ever thought it would be. Like, I honestly thought wood was just like oh, here's wood. What is wood? And so it goes. But apparently there's a lot about wood I don't know, and a lot that I need to learn about. I guess it's good that I've got some time. That's another side effect of all this, is as far as my long-standing nature of suicidality and not really caring about being alive. This kind of puts a new twist on that, because it's frankly something I have to sort of stay alive at least until I finish. Almost feels like a makes me think of like Penelope in the Odyssey. She's like, I'll pick a suitor as soon as I finish weaving this, and then tearing it apart every night. It's like, I can't, it's like I'll die as soon as I've finished building this coffin. It's like, if I spend the rest of my life doing it, well, quite literally, but if I spend forever doing it, it's like, well, I'll die once I finish building this coffin, and then don't finish building it until I'm ready, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to be posting a lot of videos about this, and it's going to be very slow, so I can't guarantee they're going to be weekly or anything. But just kind of as I think about it and as I do it. Anyway, if anybody knows anything about building coffins, or knows anything about like wood, like Jesus Christ, finding wood that is not treated, will actually biodegrade, and is also ethically sourced, would be great. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have to like go to the library and just read about wood. Anyway, I love you. Bye.